Probably a guy,
Old, old.
it's probably a guy in Rutland.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Sorry.
yeah. Hey, I have two questions on this page.
Yes,
Oh, go ahead.
One question is that $50,000 grant. I remember we talked about it last year.
Yeah.
Was it supposed to happen last year and it got delayed?
So, no,
Or
no, we
was,
have
were
the
we
fif-
talking about it for this year?
We have up to the 50,000 and I can get 10,000 per year reimbursed for the cameras. So
right.
this will, 50,000 will go for 5 years. I get $10,000 a year to reimburse to cover the cost of my body cameras
Right.
and my cruiser cameras.
When we did this,
Yeah,
we thought it was all up front.
I hear
So
you.
this is now gonna be split. There'll be
So
10,000 each
There you
year.
go. It should show.
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
the payments will be adjusted to match
Fine.
that.
Fine. All right. My second question is, see how where there's a blue heading, 2025 actual, the balance forward was 1583. I have trouble believing the balance forward a year later would be exactly the same number, 1583 again.
Well, just it
Doesn't
worked out.
seem right.
Well, we put the 59,000 in and it came, yeah, it's 1879 is what I have for the.
That's 27.
26.
6.
No, I'm looking at my piece of paper right
Mine
there.
says 1583.
27 says
Under
1879.
The
And
start in the
26
green, the start.
Balance forward, yeah.
Oh, up there, because that, no,
My-
that goes up there. You're carrying it from the year before to the top of the next year, and then you do your math down for that current year.
So, but the fact that these two are the same doesn't make sense.
Well,
I've done these-
it does because
There was no expenses.
there was only $1,583 in that account.
Yeah. And nothing was spent.
But we also couldn't put money in. We had to redo the whole
Right,
thing.
right,
Remember, we
right.
had to do it. So
We didn't put
basically
any money in and we
yeah.
didn't spend anything?
Right, we had to start
Oh.
over. It's just the way it was for 25. So it's just odd stuff.
I did not recall
then-
that we
and I'm
did
gonna
not put any
update-
money
and
in. I
then-
thought
I'm
we
gonna-
did.
I will be checking to make sure that, because I haven't gone through it with Carrie Ann, and she's been away for a couple of weeks,
Right.
to look at any expenses and any revenue. So that might be updated.
I would ask that get verified
Yes.
because it
It will-
doesn't
no,
seem
will
right.
be. It will be.
And I'm pretty sure we voted to add money to the reserve fund.
Yeah, we put it this year, it was 50
So
something.
why doesn't
thousand.
that, why wouldn't that
Well, I'm
change the
saying,
balance forward?
well, at the time, we didn't have it, and it will.
There you go. So my point is, I think that number needs to be
Yes.
revisited.
No, all of your existing year stuff
Yep,
has not been updated yet. So
Okay.
the
All right,
25
got it.
numbers have not been all updated.
All right, that was
for
it.
this.
I'm all set.
And we didn't, and if you recall, because we knew we were only gonna have 1583 to start, we didn't do any adjustment at that point until we had
Fine.
this approved, so
All right.
we're good. But all of the math will be being updated here over the next week or so.
Okay, good.
Okay. What else you got? What else you wanna buy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
well, just so you know, they did buy the vests and the other
Yeah.
kits. So we're gonna be able to modify, although the ballistic vests will move a little further out. From where they
It'll be
were.
out 5 years. So
They'll be out 5 years from now.
we replace the ballistic vests every 5 years.
Oh, so instead of 27,
It'll be
it's
like,
gonna go out later. Yeah,
Yes.
15,450.
right,
All right, anything?
It's gonna
any
go
other
to
changes?
2031
Yeah, yeah.
for the
got it,
vests. Because we'll get them in 26.
Got it.
this year, we had, at the select board meeting, we went over the last 2 meetings, we have $282,000 in unspent, payroll. And benefits and things this year. So there's been a bunch of, let's call them emergency capital items, and the vest being one, because they're
Sure.
only good for 5 years, and they were wearing 9
Right.
year
They're
old
wearing
vests
out
and stuff
they're
like that.
reaching their
Yeah.
limit.
Especially since it's
like,
dangerous in this
Oh,
town.
wow.
Well, and the other example, and we'll talk about his in a minute, where, they came in a couple of weeks ago and they tested the hoses, and 2/3 of our hoses failed.
Hmm.
So we had to spend 28 grand to get them updated. There's things,
Yeah.
there's a lot of this kind of stuff out there.
Besides the ballistic vests or any of these other out year things changing?
The handguns, it's in here on the CIP plan for 27. I just was chatting with Chet. That's gonna be pushed out until
Wait a minute, I
2035.
see it 29,
Where am I at?
$14,205.
sorry. 29,
It's-
looking at
it's
the
a-
wrong one.
That one's a 10-year replacement, not a 5.
So when you're
Going
paying
to
them out,
35.
gonna go out?
Yes,
to
another 5 years.
2035, all right,
But
fine.
It'll go out to 2035. Well, we're basically doing it, when
Got
we
it.
did these, a lot of these were 5-year items, but that was a 10-year.
Mhm.
So that one we just have to change it
Okay,
in the
any
back.
others?
Well, we covered the ballistics cruiser outfitting. We're good there. Tasers are gonna be a 5-year. So we just got the tasers this year. And then they'll get replaced in 5 years. So our taser contract right now is currently good for 5 years.
So,
And-
so the number 33,875 is
Mhm.
gonna go out to what year?
It's
29.
Yep.
It's in the right place.
Yep. Oh, it's in the right place.
But it will continue, so it's gonna,
It'll-
after the
oh,
5 years,
yeah,
we have to
okay.
sign a new contract.
5 years,
Yeah, well, those were things we added
Fine.
and just that the one item ended up getting put in as 5-year instead of 10, the
Mhm.
handguns.
Okay.
I think, other than that,
They only have a 5-year.
yeah,
That's
so,
crazy.
well, for 5 years, so the contract that we have, we purchased some body cameras. In 2.5 years, they give us brand new cameras. If they upgrade everything, we get new upgraded cameras for no cost. And then at the end of the 2 years, the battery lives, they last about 2 years.
So I understand cameras and things like that, electronics, batteries, etc. But handguns that
They're
almost
10.
never get fired, I guess I don't.
Well,
that's
Oh,
low.
They can fire a lot more than anybody
That's
else.
the
is.
misconception.
range.
Yes,
This guy's gotta practice, you know.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, never mind.
Yeah,
But 5 years.
No,
is all
I'm just
it is.
willy-nilly shooting.
Interesting.
for cameras,
No, for the handguns.
no, 10 years. Handguns
Handguns are
10
gonna be
years.
10-year.
10 years.
Tasers are 5
Oh,
years.
tasers.
Yeah, the
Thank you.
electronic
Thank
weapons.
you.
Yep.
Tasers, yeah, that's electronics. Okay, got it. Got it.
But everything
Okay.
else looks good. It's
Yeah.
all in the right spot.
Yeah, looks like it.
Good there. You guys have any questions for me?
No.
I can't find the $50,000 that Claude started out
In the
with.
green column, right under the yellow 59, there's a
That's a
50.
50 grant, and then the expenses
See it?
come out of that.
Okay, and then, well, but then it's spaced out for
It's
10
gonna be
years.
spaced
for
out.
5 years.
5
Well,
years.
this is gonna become 10,000, 10,000,
10,000 all
for
across.
each of the 5 years.
Okay.
5 years.
Is what's gonna
Yeah,
happen.
yeah.
Okay, okay.
Because when we originally did it, we were assuming we were getting the 50 up front. We were gonna be reducing
Right.
the cost
I
coming
understand.
out.
Thank you.
My memory told me we were gonna get that 50 and 25. That's why I asked about it.
So the first
But we get it
draw,
when they buy them.
When it.
the first draw of that will be in 26.
Yeah.
The fifth also.
Well, this, and the reason for this is also, remember, if they bought them in 25, the first payment would be in 26.
Ah.
This is based on when the payment is,
Payment.
not when we
Here's
acquire the
when the payment
equipment.
is, right?
He's saying the first draw off of that, that should be, I should be able to I'm going to submit for 10,000 reimbursement soon before 26.
Yeah.
So the
So
first,
this year,
yes.
Yeah, so there'll be a 25, 10,000, and then the 5 years.
Yeah.
Ah.
So that will work.
Thank you, Wayne.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
it.
guys. Good to see you all again.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank
yeah.
you.
Stay out there, will you?
Huh?
Yeah.
Safe out
I
there.
will, thank you. I'm gonna get back to work and start
Yeah.
typing.
Understand. Go get 'em.
Hopefully we'll have some good news for everybody really soon.
Thank you.
But
Yep.
See you soon.
have a good day.
You're in the hot seat. Heard you're in trouble.
Okay.
I'm always in trouble.
Okay. All right.
Hi, I'm Steve, by the way.
Hi, Steve.
Hi, Steve.
Plug the point.
Hi, Sal, Purcell.
Tom Millie, your last name is
Kulaks,
K-U,
Kulacz.
K-U-L-A-C-Z.
Z. You know, one of those Yankee names?
I'm not gonna comment.
It's Polish.
Okay.
So this is
We'll start-
EMD, right?
Well, no, this
No,
is fire.
We're
We're doing
fire.
fire and ambulance.
We're gonna do
Fire and
fire.
ambulance.
Fine.
Just little background. Fire has, on the vehicle side and things of that nature, hasn't changed much. We will be updating the number. We just got the final price for the truck we're ordering. And you'll notice on the engine one that was listed at 1.2 million, we had that on the ballot for 925,000. And we will not see that truck for 3 years.
Which one are we talking about?
That
Engine
Engine
one.
two,
Engine
1.2 million
Okay,
1.2 million.
is now 925,000. Cause we got that approved last night to order the truck, and I will be modifying the payments because they will be starting 3 years later.
Now, was that the one at 1.2 million? It was
Potentially.
be a ladder truck.
Yeah, it's not a.
Is this one? No, we're going without the ladder spec.
Correct.
okay?
So that's basically, that's just a revision to some of the,
So the,
to the math, but it doesn't change like, the appropriations and things like that.
No, this shows a string of lease payments.
Correct.
Are you saying those,
but those
the
won't start
140
until,
wait a minute, let me finish
Go
my
ahead.
question. The 143 lease payment was based on 1.2 million,
Yes,
and
So
so
the
that
numbers
lease
will go
payment
down.
will go down.
yes.
Thank you. Go ahead.
And they won't be starting until
Till-
the truck is delivered.
which we think will be
Got it.
3 years.
Build is
So 29 or something.
1,000 days.
29?
So
28.
29 delivery, I
28,
guess,
3
but the
years
first
from now.
payment would be in 29.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
wow.
what I thought, yeah.
Wow.
So the rest of it kind of stays as it sits right now.
Mm-hmm.
The one item we're gonna be having to look at, because we don't have it in the next, this is listed at 2032, is engine one. Engine one will ultimately have to move up a little bit, and we're gonna have to make a plan for that.
Right,
As
so
far
our,
as stuff.
our lead times on, apparatus has
Yeah.
Crazy.
substantially gone down.
Yeah, we get it.
So we need to try to be a little
You gotta
preemptive,
order them.
because by the time we order them, we're already exhausted
Yeah.
our use.
Yeah, we can't wait for
And
that.
now we're 3 years out, so we need
Yeah.
to like move that back.
Well, the reality is this should be on the ballot for this year to order that truck,
Engine one.
engine
Yeah.
one, because it's gonna be a year after the
Yeah,
other one.
well, we've been doing really well with this. I mean, we're
Yeah.
finally figuring
I have
out
a
lead
question.
times and when we need to do things,
You-
so we're doing well. This is good.
You have for the international rescue
Yeah.
down for this year.
That has been ordered already, and that is gonna be arriving this fall, early winter.
Good.
Okay, that was my question
Yes,
was,
Good.
I know it was approved. Do we have a estimated delivery
Yeah.
year?
Was it October or November?
October, as of right now, it's October.
So I'd like to go back to what you said before that. You mentioned, it'll have to be on the ballot, the engine one, the one we wanna
Yes.
get in 2030. Did we not have fire equipment changed for the agents to expend to be the select board?
It's the only one that's not right now. We
Oh.
got the highway one. We did the other
We
ones.
did
This is
highway
the
and
only
police.
one we didn't
do
fix
this
yet.
one. All right.
So that we're
Okay.
gonna put that on the ballot
Now I
with
understand.
this.
So we need to put this on the ballot,
Yes,
this truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said this truck, engine one. We need to
Yeah.
put engine one on the ballot.
and in this period of time when I just told you about the hose issue, we also have radios that exceed 25 years old. They're good for about 10 years. All of our
got
radios,
how many
30
for it?
of them. The unfortunate part about that is one radio is $5,800 now, a handheld. So we're talking about $150,000 item that
Oh,
every 10 years. So
That's not in here.
are they on the
that,
plan
no,
yet?
this was not on here ever, because the radios used to be in the operation side,
Right.
and we only have like 15,000 in the budget.
Right.
So we're gonna
For
add radios?
So we're gonna add radios, and we're also gonna add the hoses, when you consider that one truck's worth of hoses is $9,000. Over $9,000, almost 10.
Yeah,
So just to get one set of hoses, and we have to have them every so many years, I think that's 10 as well, right? Or 8,
8 to 10.
yeah.
Well,
Depends on the
I think
usage, right?
our
Yeah.
definition is now
So-
10.
Wait, because what happened was, I guess, with this company, the first time since 2018, we tested our hoses. We've been trying to get them since last fall.
Mhm.
And they failed 1,900 feet in one day, and all had to go in the trash, because you
Yeah.
cannot use them. They
Yeah,
cannot go back
yeah.
on the truck. So we had the select board approve the $28,000. We're good on hoses. We
Okay.
just need to include it in the plan and make sure
In the
we're
plan.
looking at that
Right,
8 to
right.
10 years.
What do they do, pressure test them?
And it will affect
So they
the
pressure
overall
test them.
appropriation.
Right, but so the hoses we're gonna do, we're gonna bundle them all together is, because if you're saying one hose is $8,000 to $9,000.
One truck's worth.
One.
So basically, at 8 years, we should be replacing one truck's worth.
That's all.
And then ninth year, another truck's worth, and then the next year, another truck's
Is
worth.
that the smartest way to do it, or is it smarter to replace all the 2-inch hoses one year and all
They're
the,
all 4-inch.
or whatever,
Well, we
they all?
have 2-inch too.
Yeah.
But so
Different
to
sizes,
answer
I
that
thought.
question, right, we should basically use determines if how long they last, right? And we pressure test them, we
Right.
should be pressure testing them yearly.
Right,
We could get 15 years out of them,
they
right?
could keep passing tests, yeah.
Right, so if they keep passing tests, we're good. We could move it out.
Yeah.
My suggestion and what I would like to see is at the 8-year mark, we
Yep.
order in
Plan.
enough to do a truck. So when that following year, say everything passes that year, but that following year we start losing hose, we start replacing it out. We replace one truck then, The
won't
following
have
year,
them,
we
yeah.
replace the other one.
Yeah, so I guess my question is, to replace one truck, we're saying today would be roughly $8,000.
It was 28,044 for 3 trucks. So it's
that's
just over 9,000.
Right,
So the 9.
okay, so it doesn't meet the criteria yet.
Well, but it does,
Check
we've
that
been
one.
doing the collective.
Hang on.
But 10 was our number.
Hang on,
unfortunately.
and
Just
and
check.
we're thinking about ordering them every year,
Right.
right? I mean, to,
Yeah.
scattered, you're not gonna you're gonna order them all at once, or you're gonna order,
They will be, we're gonna order, well, if we did the truck at a time, okay? And let's assume I put this in here at $9,300, which is what it is today,
right?
okay?
Go
And
ahead.
but we're putting the whole hosting in.
Okay.
You put that out 5 years, it's gonna be over 10,000.
There you go. That's
Not only that,
I
but
just
you
wanted
also
to-
have. to
That's what I
remember,
was thinking.
Right.
9,300 now, it'll be
Your
over
2-inch
10.
hose also has to be tested.
Yes,
That's been bought as a line item in their operating budget every year. They put in X amount for hose.
right,
So maybe, number one, these prices aren't going to go down probably.
no,
But if we're going to do hose, if you want to do all of the, have a line item that's going to cover all of your hose, because your 2-inch line gets used way more than a 4-inch line does. Gets used every call.
Mm-hmm,
That's your ready lines.
okay.
So you're saying a full truck's worth of lines is not only the 9,000 for the 4-inch ones, if I heard it right, but it could be higher.
It's
if
going
we
to be
get
another couple
all of the
thousand.
full trucks with the hose.
Yeah, it's going to be at least another 2,000.
So it could be 11,000, whatever.
Yeah,
round numbers.
to do
Truck
your
with
inch and a half,
hoses.
2-inch.
And you can plan every 8 years, but
Right.
adjust the plan based on inspection, pressure test results and all that, right?
Doing it quick, it's probably another $7,000 worth of hose on the trucks.
no,
So
For
now
3
you're
trucks?
16.
No, that's like a truck.
That's
So
a
you
truck.
have your 1,000 feet, then you have your 1.25 inch, 1 3/4, and then we have 3-inch.
So you're looking at
if you're looking at
16,000
to
a truck.
outfit that whole truck.
All right,
That's
so
the
why don't
plan.
we
One way to
plan on-
plan.
Excuse me, why don't we plan on doing a truck, a full
Or-
truckload
full truckload of hose.
Every 8 years,
every, 8 years.
all sizes, all lengths and all diameters, just a truck's worth of hose, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Put it in
8
every
years.
8 years.
Yeah.
And as each year.
So you'll have 3
do what
years
you
in a
have
row of
Based on
Right.
pressure test results.
lighting,
Right, and then we're
and then
thinking out.
bump it out 8
Yeah.
more years.
Yeah,
Right, and so if you put in whatever that number is, now it's gonna be 9,000 plus some other number, so you're already over the limit,
Right.
and that covers us in that context.
Yeah, because when
right?
this truck has been ordered, that comes naked.
Well,
Oh,
that's too
really?
bad.
There are no hoses.
There's no holes on that truck.
There's
Like,
no, they.
Really?
It's the theme of the night.
Carry different volumes of hose, different size hoses, so when you order a truck,
You don't get a hose. Got
the
it.
hose bays, unless you specify, are all gonna be empty.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, some people would say when you're buying a truck like that, we're getting hosed anyway.
Yeah.
All right, so
So-
so that's the deal with hose.
Right, and then the other piece of it is the radios.
Right.
So we just bought 10 radios as of last night.
Mm-hmm.
That's $58,000 for radios. 38, the town is paying 20,000. Steve got a grant from the Burn Foundation for 20,000 of
Right.
it. We're gonna continue to work for a grant for next year.
Sure.
If you go by, the 10-year cycle, we gotta put at least like 17 or 18,000 a year in to buy radio, so we're buying like 3 or 4 a year.
Mhm.
But right now, he has kind of like a crisis for 10 more radios, because we have 30. Okay, but if we get to 20, we're operational. Right now, they're having issues when they sometimes fail a little bit on calls. So
Good.
not a good plan. Right now, with the 10 we just bought, it's the 2 officers and anybody who's going interior.
Mhm.
That's where those radios are going, and then we got to get the next round.
Okay, all right.
And the question becomes, and this will be the answer is not tonight, because when we revamp this
Yeah.
and put in the things, we're gonna then know, okay, well, maybe because we're not buying a truck this year, or because we don't have that payment this year, we can buy the whole 10 radios this year and then start going with the 3 a year after that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of the thought process I'm having, and it may be that we're good, because once I make that adjustment for the 925,000 instead of the 1.2 million,
Mhm.
plus the lifespan, that's
Should
gonna
be
change. quite a bit.
Currently,
Relatively even.
you say there's 30 handheld radios. Is that just in the fire department?
That's within what we have in-house and everybody that has them on them. That makes sense?
And it's
Yeah.
EMS as well.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah,
Because we don't need 30 radios if this is strictly fire department at this point, because you only have 20 firemen.
so here's,
So I think, go ahead.
But if it
Sketch,
includes
you explain.
EMS,
You explain, this is your.
if it includes EMS, that's a
Explain.
different,
yeah, so it does. So, but here's the ultimate goal, right? Is if you come in and join the fire department, right? There's no reason for me to be handing you a radio and having you take it home.
Mhm.
The ultimate goal is that you respond to the station and respond with your crew. We don't need to fill up scenes with personal vehicles. So every riding position on a truck should have a portable radio associated with it. Right? So our radios will be tagged out to whatever truck they're supposed to be on. They'll be on the truck. If you come from home, grab your gear, jump on a truck, you grab a radio from the truck, you're good and ready to go.
Mhm.
The ones that should be having a take-home radio are your officers, because they are likely to go to scene if there's an issue, and your paramedics, because those guys will come out in the middle of the night and meet
Right.
up with a truck.
yes.
So those are the only ones that should be take-home anymore. Like, we're gonna make that change within house, because we really need to look at what we have and appropriately using it. If I'm out with my wife and I show up here and I don't have a radio with me, and my radio's in my truck, what good does it do me? Right? So
Yeah.
if there's a radio there for you to grab as soon as you come in, now you're outfitted completely, and we're not worrying about radios disappearing. We're not worried about people keying mics that shouldn't be keying the mics, so.
And it for $5,800 a piece.
So if I may, what I'm hearing is that we need 30 radios for good reason to cover, I think I'm hearing, fire and ambulance.
Right.
Now, a financial question I would ask has nothing to do with the fire department, is why does the town of Canaan, why are we on the hook to pay for the radios rather than the four-town fund that's supposed to pay for ambulance equipment for some of the radios?
The four-town fund pays most of the operating expenses of EMS.
And capital equipment
And,
too,
but fire is not.
not
part of
fire,
that.
no, I'm talking
But
about.
just on
radios
the
for-
EMS side.
Yeah.
But almost all the radios, I mean, there's only gonna be, what,
30.
6 radios, I think, that are ambulance?
6 radios that will go in the ambulance.
Yeah. The
And to
rest
be
of the
honest,
radios are fire,
Fine,
so 24.
so what I'm asking is why
That's
aren't
my-
those 6 radios paid for by the
The
ambulance
issue is,
fund?
well,
That's my question.
the town of Canaan pays $180,000
Right.
towards the fire.
Correct.
This plan comes out of that. It
Towards the
doesn't
fire,
matter
towards
where.
the ambulance service, you mean?
Yeah, because the capital fund, the town is, we've separated, so when the town puts the money in, that's going to capital. Like 55 or 60% of the 180,000
Right,
goes to
goes to
capital.
capital,
Well, this is the capital expense that goes with that. At the end of the day, it all ends up the same money. Like if right now, they're running a little negative, the ambulance, so the town it's in the town's fund anyway.
that I understand.
So but the intent is getting them to be self-sufficient on a capital side, and I don't care what volunteer, fire department, ambulance service you have. Towns buy the equipment now. It used to be that you could raise enough money to buy
Yeah, but
stuff.
in the case of ambulance, there's 4 towns together.
Four.
Not really.
Well,
There's
way,
yeah.
there's Orange
3, I'm sorry.
and half of Dorchester, Orange and half of
Dorchester,
Dorchester, and Canaan.
Thank you.
That's it.
That's why I said 4.
No, it's not
That's
4.
3.
That's still.
No, only the 3, all right.
The
But-
problem we're having right now is discussions with Grafton. We're getting called over there a lot more than we're supposed to be, and we're not getting any.
That's the one I had.
now the easy solution on this,
Me too, but.
when whoever is doing the calculating for what these outlying towns are going to pay for the service, you add in your capital.
And that's
That's what I think should happen, and that should be the source of funds to buy those 6.
Yeah, but I'm saying rather,
radios.
that should be, the cost of replacement can all be calculated in part of what these
this.
towns are paying
Yes,
for
I
their
agree with that.
contract.
No,
Totally,
yeah,
totally.
but see, and we just had this conversation with Grafton. The town budget for EMS and fire combined is $1.325 million.
Okay,
Okay. we average like 950 calls a year total. It runs at about $1,400 a call.
Okay.
We are now saying, and we told Grafton, if we were getting them to pay for their calls, they're into us for 120 grand right now, which we're not getting any of it. Okay, but the thing is, we have updated since Carrie Ann, when she first started, she started putting like all of the all operational expenses in the departments, which included health benefits and stuff. It never used to be that way. It is now. So when we actually do this math and we say, here's the 185,000, this money is going into the capital fund. That money is part of the calculation. They're paying their portion of the capital fund. So they are in essence buying the radios. You know what I'm saying?
That portion goes into.
It goes
the capital
into,
reserve
it
fund.
goes,
I think there's a different fund.
no, well, there is a EMS, the EMS is an enterprise fund.
Right. And there's
Okay,
the capital
But the
equipment
money
portion of
ends
that.
up, but the money is calculated with this all in it. And that just means we have to put less into the ambulance than we would have to if we didn't have them contracting with us. So it's really like,
Okay.
okay, do we want to take it from this pocket and put it in this
Well, I
pocket?
don't want to delay
Well,
everybody, but I think there's something not right in there with it. And I think Carrie Ann would know exactly what to do.
Can I take a shot at that? So we currently are allocating $180,000 to the ambulance.
Right.
crowd. The question I have, and I think that we're trying to get around here is, are the radios in that 180,000, or are they an additional $36,000? Because if you're buying 5 radios, it's roughly $36,000, right?
They're included within this,
Within what?
the 180,000.
So, okay, so when we're
So if
building,
you're saying it has to be, if you're recommending that we buy 6 of the radios in the enterprise fund,
That's what I'm recommending.
right, that's
Exactly.
and the question is, does that, we don't currently have a budget for that right now.
right,
For next year, we could be budgeting that way, but that's an additional 36,000, so we'll
Right.
probably go from 180 to 200 and they can buy
well,
it
that's
out of
what I'm
their
asking,
fund.
so what you're telling me, it's not in the one, it's not in the 180. So what you're saying is, what we really wanna do is we wanna be paying for the ambulance 180 plus 36 roughly. Right, so that's 6, that's 11, that's 200.
But that's only if Canaan is paying for all of the rate.
I understand
Okay.
that, you know, that.
It's
that's
gotta
what's
be
going
split
on,
among the
but I-
towns.
I
The
get
issue-
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the issue is, it's an allocation of the outside funds is what you're talking about.
Yeah,
And,
so the Canaan.
but it would have to be
front bear
done
the
by
full
call, and this,
cost.
but. And I can bring back that number to you, cause I'm gonna guess if you look at those calls. Like. 66 calls, 64 calls. To Grafton is running about 120,000. So if Orange is around the same thing, they're basically like 10% of the budget.
Yeah.
So they'd be paying for 3,600 of the 36,000.
Right,
No, I understand.
and
So-
the other town would pay for another 3,600.
So really what we're
Well,
saying is,
not quite that.
radios really for the fire department is 20, what's it,
24.
24. And for the EMS is 6.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is we should keep things where they belong. If we put the 24 radios in fire and the 6 radios in EMS, then everybody knows exactly where the money's going and where the
And that's
radios are
fine.
being
And,
used.
Yeah,
and
right.
so I can add
That's
the
all.
radios
So-
to this. I'll add the radios
Right,
to
that's
this
what I-
one.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Exactly.
I knew what you were getting at.
Yeah.
We'll add a radio line on the EMS.
That's
Which will
correct.
be for 6 units.
That's correct.
And the 20, and we will have 24 here,
Yes,
and we can make that work.
there you
But
go.
I've, for appropriate split out and to get the other towns to pay their appropriate fair share, even if it's only 10 or 15%, we're still talking thousands of bucks.
That is money.
It's money.
That's-
We can,
let's just-
we can make that work.
Fantastic. I
All right.
love this plan.
So with radios and hoses, then
Well, hoses
What do
are
we-
different.
Hoses, no.
when are we gonna start paying?
Well,
I
right,
mean,
Go ahead.
you're buying some hoses,
we already bought all the hose.
so,
Hose is planning for the future
so
now.
that's 8 years out.
Yeah.
Correct.
The
And radios then,
radios we need to buy, we just bought 10 last night.
I would do excess payroll monies, yes.
And
okay.
that is town, and that's part of the 24 for the fire. The
Okay,
next 10 are part of the fire,
Yeah,
okay?
Yeah.
So we gotta figure out a way to get to the next 10. right off the get-go.
Mhm.
And then when Steven, if he gets grant monies and if they're gonna give grant to the EMS and they say, well, we got $20,000, well, that buys three, and then we only have to
you
find
go.
money for three. So that's how we're just gonna be separating it a little bit. I was talking in general terms, but
Right.
this is all fine. So I see that as something that's very doable, and we just gotta look at putting the 10 radios in, and I gotta see now that I can change, because now that we found out in the last week that we're 3 years out for a fire truck, it may
Yeah.
allow us
Sure.
to adjust our allocation.
And the other thing, just remember our EMS as an enterprise entity is still growing. That's still actually, even though this is year 5, we're still
growing.
in that initial phase
Yeah.
of getting it up and going. So some of these expenses, we might be able to shift onto the enterprise entity in a couple of years when things are,
Well, that would just lower the amount of the contribution that we make. So
Right.
instead of
Yeah,
hundred
and
and eighty,
the
it would be
question-
150 or whatever the number.
The goal,
Yeah, I got
well, and in a weird way,
Mhm.
if I were saying what I'd like to see 3 years from now, is that we're turning money positive in the ambulance side.
Mhm.
And once it becomes consistent, the town would likely eliminate the enterprise fund and they would become a department and it would become profitable.
Oh, really?
yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think
Well,
the
that's
reason,
good. Yeah.
reason it was left as an enterprise fund is the
Okay.
town didn't want to be responsible.
Right.
You know what I mean? That was the issue. So if this
Now
becomes a
responsible
function,
alone
like
for
we're
covering
getting,
Other towns.
you know, cause
Yeah.
if Grafton decides that they want to pay us to do this, that's another discussion. Enfield's talking about modifying their system. If it ends up, we start with the amount of transfers we're doing with the kind of people that we're bringing on right now, we're gonna be able to do the higher level transfers. We may start seeing a positive revenue thing in a year or a year and a half.
Oh, good luck with that.
So, excuse
Yeah.
me, it seems to me we did not get to a clear answer to Tom's question a few minutes ago
Which one?
about the radios. When he asked about the 30, when would we spend it? The first part of the answer was we just bought 10. Good.
Well, the next two.
I think his question is, when is the next 10? Is
The
it
next
this
10
year,
is-
next year?
Well, that's what I
when?
said is when I was saying that when I adjust these numbers, I think we're gonna be able to buy the 10 this next year.
In
Right out of the capital.
2026.
Yes.
That's the answer to your question. think.
But it's
Right?
not a definitive answer. I gotta play the
That's
numbers.
what all right, fine.
That's 20 out of 24.
Okay,
And
then,
then it becomes, now we're gonna get onto the cycle where we budget for 3 a year. You know what I mean? Like, and see how that goes. We won't have to buy them for 2 years, but at the end of the day, it's a 10-year life, and we're gonna wanna make sure we don't get too far outside that.
Right, the whole goal is to not end up with a panic where we're having to
Right.
dump a bunch of money because nothing is.
nothing
right.
works, yeah.
Yeah,
You know what I
because
mean?
everything is wore out.
So what'll happen is if it's a 10-year life on the radios, we might buy it at 8, 9, 10 and start there every 3 years. So we stay within that 8 to 12 years of
All right.
life.
Mhm.
Alright,
Okay,
but when you get that, just, you know.
Yeah, so I just gotta put that together, cause this, like I said, now I don't have to pay 143
Right,
grand,
good.
I
Yeah,
can
no.
buy radios.
Good plan. Alright, what else we got for fire? Let's
Um,
finish up fire.
So we really need to look on how far out we're putting these tracks.
Yes,
So should we be doing that on this?
Oh, yeah,
we're going to,
Okay.
the conversation is, engine 1 needs to be replaced now.
right.
Okay, it's just as bad as engine 2 or worse.
Yeah, we technically we should have
We
ordered
don't have-
engine 2 a few years back. And we should have been ordering engine 1 now.
The reality is, as far as I'm concerned, we're gonna order it now.
Right,
We're gonna see this, we're gonna just assume the same lead time,
right,
okay, and then I'm gonna put that on here.
okay.
But the good thing is when we operate like this, even when you slide these payments out a couple of years, well, we're still gonna be putting the money in for them, you know what I mean? So now we're gonna start making interest, we're gonna
we
be,
should be, try to get
and
it.
we should be in a good
Right.
place, and maybe we won't have to spend as much money on leasing that we were.
Yeah, I just have a interesting question there in terms of the interest. Carrie Ann, as I understand, has lumped all of this stuff into one, rolls it in, and that way we get more value for the
Mhm.
money, right?
Not these.
Not these.
That might be true for the highway package,
Go ahead.
Okay,
different dealers.
all reserve funds
Yes,
are in Bar Harbor, and they have an actual investment
and they're all
group that
unique.
does that. The towns, all, there was 6 bank accounts when Carrie Ann got here,
Okay.
like running day-to-day
Understood.
operations.
Yes.
Now there's one. And between her and Deb, when we get a bunch
So-
of tax payments in, she dumps it into a savings account and they draw it as they need it
Okay,
weekly.
so each one of these reserve accounts are.
Earns its own
unique
interest.
and Its own.
Yes, they are their own
Thank you.
complete account.
Okay, that's all. Now I understand. Got
So
it.
I have a question, back to the ordering of engine one, which we said needs to go on the March ballot.
Yeah.
I support that. And I know we won't see the engine till what, 2030 or whatever, if we're lucky, because of lead time. My point is, in the 11 years I've been here, every single ballot approval has been to spend money in that year. We're not gonna spend the money for the engine till it arrives, of course, but we need authority to order it right away. How do we make that clear on the ballot?
Well, it was for the
Just
925, because we actually said we have to order, we said in the explanation, we have to order this truck where you're authorizing the money. It's
Authorize
ballot
the money
approved,
for a future year.
right, it's ballot approved
Right.
at today's value, the
Right,
estimated
right.
cost is,
Right,
okay? And this is one of the reasons
is
it's
that
highly.
legal? Yes,
Yeah,
well,
it is.
Yes.
The lawyer's not gonna
Yes.
throw.
No,
this-
because
no,
actually-
This all went,
All right,
your ballot,
good.
the entire ballot, anything to do with money has to go through DRA and their
I know
lawyers.
that, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in order before, so.
And I've
it's-
never seen them approve money on a ballot for expenditure in a future year.
Well, when you
That
get the
was the reason I asked the
the
question.
expenditure happens that day because we order the truck, we're obligating it.
We don't expend, oh, we're
obligating.
Obligating it, yeah.
Same idea
So
as
that's
a
okay?
bond.
Fine.
Yes, and
Okay, I'm
actually,
good,
and
good,
Jamie at the
good.
DRA has
Just
said
wanted to be
that,
sure.
you know, when the public votes and approves a warrant article,
Yeah.
that stays there. It's
obligated.
approved.
I'm good with
It's
that, that's
obligated.
fine.
We're done.
All right,
I know the money wouldn't flow out until the engine is
Right.
delivered, but, okay,
all right,
good.
let's move on.
Move
So
on.
we got the engine one. What, you said there's some other vehicles here that you might wanna update?
Just
the-
when we put, these engines need to be, like, we need to start thinking about them at like the
Right.
10 to 15.
Got the
year mark
engines,
and not
right.
the-
What else?
Which
Which
other
other
have the
ones?
boat on there?
The boat's not on there?
The boat is not on there.
It's
It's not on the, yeah, that's the problem.
We have the
It did?
UTV, we have the
Did
UTV
it
trailer
really?
and all that,
Yeah.
but we don't have the.
No, it didn't.
No, okay.
But so we have a boat that was purchased in 19.
32,
Sorry, what's that?
1932.
Yeah, no, actually 19. Like kind of an estimated value of 25 for it.
Wait a
that we
minute,
should
Elizabeth Judilla donated a boat like 4 or 5 years ago. Is that the one? we're
That
talking
might be
about?
the one.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
was-
know.
it
I
was
know
actually
that
She donated it and it was only 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay,
So why we, maybe that we put it on the plan for 10 years from now,
it
but
still needs to go on the plan,
He,
right?
Right, yes,
he's saying that
yes.
there's a line item missing for
Fine.
the.
Here's the,
Right.
right.
we don't need one soon, though. It's not, I
No,
thought. I was
no,
saying-
no,
No. No, but my, here's my whole thing, right, is if we have it and we need it, and we obviously need it, we have bodies of water here that we need to be able to.
Lakes and
do
ponds.
rec-
Yeah,
so-
yeah,
so-
Yeah.
So I don't want it not to be here and then 5 years from now,
We're
you
putting it
go,
on the
hey,
plan.
I need money for that.
Totally agree. Totally.
You know?
It needs to be in a
Yeah.
plan, but I just wanted to be sure I wasn't hearing that we needed one right away.
No, the only thing, other than the 2 engines, it's critical is radios, because we just did the hoses, so.
Radios, hoses, yeah.
Yeah, we got radios, hoses, we gotta add the boat,
Yep.
we got engine one. Are there any of these other?
cameras? And they didn't make it to this.
Sorry, Steve.
Okay, we can put them on.
So when he adds the boat, what year do you want to show a boat replacement?
Well, we're gonna
We'll
just
figure
put
it
it in, we're gonna put it in now. It was, once we put the purchase year in
That's
and the life, just, the purchase year was 2019 or 20.
2019, all right.
2019.
So what's the life on a boat like that? 20 years?
Depends upon
I-
what you use it.
I would put it
I know,
out
but-
15,
Plan, 15 years, fine.
right? So
what-
we at
that's what
least
I was
are
asking.
ready, yeah.
All I was just wanted to ask.
What year
what year we
was
gonna
the,
go with it?
is the manufacture date on that boat?
You know, I'm not positive. I have not looked at
Because
that.
that's one of the first things we should look at is what not so much when we got the boat, what is the age of the boat
Yeah,
and condition?
I
It
can
was new
verify
when
that.
Elizabeth donated it. She bought it new.
Yeah, but I'm saying, did she
Okay,
buy it
so-
new and donate it as
Right away,
new?
immediately, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Right,
She
but
never
how long,
used it.
how long was it at the dealer? Like, is it
don't know,
a
but we
2018?
Yeah, that's like I
We
say,
do,
we
'cause
need,
you-
so this isn't a fiberglass boat or
Right.
an aluminum boat.
Right.
This is a rubber blow-up boat,
Right.
right?
I understand.
So,
Rubber has,
They don't-
has a
the
life.
right,
life is
and they
different.
have
I know,
a
I
wings.
Yeah, yeah. No, I understand.
We have a dinghy.
I was just
Yeah.
answering the questions. It was brand new. Elizabeth donated it.
Yeah,
Okay,
And it was brand new donated. How long was it at the dealer? I don't know.
yeah, we just wanna make sure that the boat, the life expectancy of the pontoon itself,
Sure.
right? We're gonna be ready to replace it before we need to.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean just because it's on here that we have to buy it.
Right.
If we still have a
course not.
good condition, no problems with it, and
what is
it needs
essentially a
everything.
Zodiac.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like a
Absolutely,
Zodiac.
yeah.
My only question again was at the line, Adam.
Yeah.
What year in the future should Chet show the
Yeah.
dollar figure?
Well, we're gonna talk to the people. You say if it's a 15-year life, we're gonna
There you
say,
go.
what, give
Put
me a
that.
start date and then it's
That
gonna
was
put it
my
in.
question. That's all. You know.
okay.
Yeah,
we'll
cause they're,
verify that out, yeah.
any of those Zodiacs,
So it's about 10 or 11
that
years
type
out
of
right now,
boat.
because it's at least 4 or 5 years old.
Right, correct.
Right, that's where it'll show up.
cause it depends on if the
Anything
heat
else
blows
on
on
here,
it all
Steve?
winter,
What
or
else
if
you
the
got?
sun shines on it in
What
the
you got?
summer, or, you know, how it's taken care of.
Just, we need to add the thermal imaging cameras, cause those are a good ticket, I don't know.
Add what?
Over 10,000.
Thermal imaging.
Thermal imaging
Yeah,
camera.
yeah.
Yeah,
So once again, how many do you have and what years do they need to show replacement in?
so 3 of them, and we already need to start replacing them. So we should probably stretch those out over like the next few years.
One per year, one every other
Well,
year, what?
We gotta, what we'll do is we'll put in what our goal is, and then we gotta look at. how
So that's
much
what I'm
money
asking. What's the
we-
goal? Is it
When do
one
we
per
go,
year?
when do we go red?
Yeah.
And we might have to make some adjustments.
Right.
You said 3?
3.
Yes, 3. So the
And
question is, what is the goal?
Do you have a lifespan essentially of them, or?
Manufacturers are different.
Yeah.
So your battery life starts to degrade after 5. So I know that they've replaced the batteries on there, but 5 years should be the.
Yeah, I
what
mean,
we're-
battery's replaceable, but it's a matter of at what point does a unit become obsolete?
5 years is where you know your unit's gonna keep working. You know, we might be able to get some extended life out of it, but these are life safety things that I.
Yeah,
just,
you know,
like, get-
this is why I'm
No,
asking.
no, I would
because-
call them at 5 years.
Okay, cause this is why I'm asking. The battery will last 5 years. It's just like the body cameras. The battery lasts 2 years and then hopefully it's working.
Yeah, that's not.
And this is the thing, and do you put a brand new battery in at $500-600 a unit to find out the rest of the unit is only going to last 6?
Right. Yeah, anything with chips in it, they deteriorate, like our
Yeah.
cell phones,
Right.
you know, what,
Yeah.
3 years is probably the
Right.
max, and then they start being funky, and
And a lot of,
No,
like,
I've
yeah.
had mine for at least 8.
you got a flip phone. I can guarantee it, you got a flip.
but as you know, a lot of this depends on exposure.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah,
Exposure
Yeah.
use.
I
what-
think, Steve, the
Yeah.
thing that Scott's trying to get at is there's a unit in it that comes with a battery.
Yeah.
Right, and so at some point in time, the battery dies out. But that doesn't
Yeah,
necessarily
well,
mean
sure.
that the unit is not functioning if you put a new battery in,
Correct.
But
Right.
you don't know.
right? And so what you're saying is you don't know what happens at that point in time.
Right.
That's
Right.
why you're saying 5 years, because that's kind of like a safety net.
right,
If
it's
you will.
to guarantee that we're not gonna have a failure of the equipment on scene, right?
Right.
So,
So I'm comfortable with starting with, a 5-year life on them. Right, but let's watch it and see what happens, and then
Well,
maybe we'll extend that.
A lot has to do with the upgrades
we-
and do they
we
change the
understand.
batteries
Yeah.
and they no longer make that way they do it anymore? It's like, it's crazy.
We understand, we all understand this, right?
I
We're
can't
just-
speak
we're just
for
saying that-
anybody else, but
Sorry?
like, I can't speak for anybody else,
Yeah.
but just because it says we can order it, if we don't need it, why are we ordering it? That's
Good.
the question we should be asking.
Mhm.
Well, always.
We won't,
I
we won't.
Yeah.
No, we're just trying to develop a reasonable plan.
Yeah.
Just because it's in a plan.
Plans
doesn't-
change.
Doesn't trigger
Right,
automatic order. No, no.
exactly.
Well, it's just like, the
Like
example-
engine 1, we weren't gonna get that for, a while, but now.
See,
You know what I mean? So plans change, and we
Yep.
all get that. We're reasonable men here, we
Yep.
all
And we-
understand, and women, thank you, Monica.
And this
But-
plan assumes we're gonna put 116,000 in additional to the overall capital plan this year.
Mhm.
out of 500 and something thousand, we're doing this over 5 years.
Yeah.
And it's also, does it get approved? And then the other piece is, how do we have to divvy this up? Because we're we're in year 2 of this program,
Hmm.
which means we're actually starting to add items that have been kind of overlooked and
Understood.
were bought in the operation. So, as this all shakes out, we're gonna say, okay, well, this may work perfect for this department, but over here, we got problems.
Understood.
So,
So I have 2 questions, totally different. First one, back to the 3 cameras. I'm not sure we answered, depends, do you know what condition they're in? Like, is one of them so bad, we wanna buy that one this year?
We have one that I've been looking at replacing. It was an engine 2, and I cannot tell you the year of it at this point.
So point would
So-
be, it sounds like one in 26, right, the coming year. And then the next question would be,
We can go a
one
few
each
more
year
years.
for the.
I would go every
2
other
years after
year.
that?
Every other year should be.
That's what I
okay.
was, so Chuck could put them in, one next year, one in 28, and one in 30.
Yeah,
There you go. And then you
How
get
much are
to
those
life
items?
every
What do they
5
cost,
years.
roughly?
so
I can know the number.
they're around the 10 grand mark.
Around the 10 grand mark.
$10,050.
I thank you very
The problem-
much.
so some of our
Well,
problems with
I
those
know.
is everything has to be, like, you have to call out and you have to get a price on it. You can't jump online and find it. So like,
Yeah.
we have our extrication tools, like I called and got a quote on those, so I had a baseline to go
Yeah,
with. And I gotta tell you, I've quoted out a lot of stuff, and from 2 years ago to now, the pricing has
Changed.
incredibly.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Even the
and I'm not
radios-
favor, yeah.
The radios that we got approved
Good.
last night, those radios 2 years ago were $1,800 less a piece.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that one of the things that we've done in this committee is things that are coming up, we really would like to get some kind of a quote on.
Yeah.
So we
Right.
know
Yep.
what it would cost today, and that's fine. And then if it's gonna be 5 years down the road, we've got the inflation factor built in, so we're kind of gonna be close. Do you know what I mean? But that doesn't mean that we will be close. I mean, certain products might,
Well, and that's why-
20%, you know what I mean? Others might
that's
go
why
up one,
we-
so
We
we
look at
get
the,
it, but.
we have to look at the
close it.
replacement cost every year
I
because they
understand.
change.
Yeah.
So, because
Yeah,
fire is not, the fire says the voters have to authorize expenditure. If you wanna buy the camera next year. And you're gonna need a quote for it, gonna need to put it on the ballot if it's gonna come out of this fund, right? If it were in a general fund, the selectmen could buy it,
The only reason I would do,
just think about that.
no, I understand. On the ballot will be to have the agents to expend be the select board.
Oh, you are gonna do that
Yeah,
for
that's
fire,
gonna-
this coming year.
Yeah, that's the only
Oh.
one that's left, and they approved the
I
other
didn't know
one
that, okay, fine.
very well. So we are assuming that they're gonna be the agents to expend for that. And this is a conversation we may
All right,
have to
then
have
that's
where we kind of hide it one year in the operations budget and take both the revenue and the expense over
Yep.
there.
Yeah.
Until
I
we
didn't
know
want you
for
to get in a
sure, and
bind
then we'll have
that
to
you need
figure
buy
that
it,
part
but
out.
you can't buy it
Right,
till-
yeah, but the intent is
Right.
the, and even with the, and we're gonna be leasing this truck, it's gonna be based on a lease in the warrant, so that's why we wanna get the voter approval, but these kind of things, if we say, well, cause this is the one thing that we're gonna be adding to this plan, but when you look at the line that says, warrant to capital reserve, there's gonna be another line item that says, appropriation kept in operating, which we're doing with some of the leases, because we want people to understand that the total appropriation is still the same, even if it's not always going into the reserve account. So we wanna identify that so that it may be a little easier to understand. And it also will help Carrie Ann.
Yeah, and we have no grants currently forecast,
Pending, no.
right? So
That's
have we decided that we're not gonna be forecasting grants? That's,
What
is
was
that
your,
correct?
what
What's
was
that?
your language on, that you used to talk?
The other line item?
Appropriations to be left in operating.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna phrase it yet, but we're gonna be, it's appropriations in the operating budget.
And
Where-
some of that for these payments that's the place for it. so it can be,
So,
so it can't be eliminated
Right.
at the vote.
correct.
In
Because the goal is,
Are these appropriations that would typically be out of the capital reserve fund?
when
And
you say
you're-
typically, in this type of program, yes, it's never been done here before. And the reason it hasn't been done is, it's always been like, oh, we're gonna go buy this,
gonna
and
buy
they're
what-
not
buy what they're
financing, and
Okay.
but
Yeah,
when
I
you
don't-
have multiple year payments, you have to kind of cover your butt. And what my concern is, like, when we say our appropriation is supposed to be 200 or 716,000 or whatever the number is, you know what I mean? When that stuff is listed and we got to say, well, 200,000 has to be kept in operations. I want people to understand that it's still a $700,000 appropriation. And 500 if it's in going to reserve account, the other's in operating, but it's still part of that plan. Because if we don't do that, as soon as that payment is done, the appropriation is gonna drop for that fund, and that screws everything up.
So you got a capital out, you're gonna buy a fire truck, and you wanna put so much money in the operating budget to start. And then it's gonna switch over to the capital reserve.
The best example I can give you is the highway department. If you look at last year's highway department, when we leased the two pieces of equipment, those leases, the 169,000 was kept in the operating fund. And then we have another 300 and some thousand that went into reserve, even though it's supposed to be 500.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
it's just a matter of making sure we keep those two things connected in people's minds.
Unless you got Bud.
Just the increase for, I mean, we all know, I mean, a police cruiser's costing you 63,000 this year, right?
12,000.
No, for a brand new police cruiser.
53.
I'm saying that because he's using that as an example to get his number up.
No, but I'm just saying,
I
right?
think we'll
So,
catch that, don't worry. Hey,
so it was, what was it, 63 or 50? No, for just the car.
53.
53
So
for
53.
base.
So like we run a Tahoe for the car one that is at 60, right? So kind of a ballpark. Like I know these numbers aren't all there, and engine two were less because engine two was originally gonna become a ladder. But like at 10% on these would make our numbers more of what the market is
Yeah.
right now.
What's
So,
that now?
and it
10% increases.
On what?
like overall for where we are with inflation on these, because these numbers are a little behind.
Well, I think if you're gonna, the replacement values are, the only way we're gonna change those is if we get current quote.
Right, no,
So
no,
if
no,
you,
go ahead.
right, I said, we'll replace these numbers if we get a current quote. In other words, if you wanna change the value of a Chevy 1-ton utility to, from $220,000, get a current quote and we'll put that number in. And then it'll be any inflation will be built in because his program builds in a 3% inflation. Go ahead.
But I think where he was going is we need to change that 3% to 10% for these types of trucks. So that when it's calculating the payment, like if the value is $100,000 now, 3 years from now, it's gonna be more like 150,000. And we're not keeping up with that by using a 3% calculator.
And what's our experience rate on that? that's giving
Trucks
us the-
have been doing that anywhere between 5 and 10% for the last 10 or 15 years.
Yeah.
It's
Scott,
been
you
stupid.
got-
Trucks have been exponentially,
It's been really insane.
Right.
And before COVID,
And is there any thought that that's gonna continue for sure, or is it just a
it's
speculation?
tapered off some, what I've been watching prices on trucks. But 2 years ago, the average triaxle dump truck in a 12-month period went up 30%.
Mhm.
Because they literally went from 200,000 to 300,000 in the matter of less than 12 months.
Sure.
That same truck this year, what I've been looking at, is in that 300 to 315,000. So it's tapered quite a bit, but I don't know as these numbers reflect that initial increase.
no.
Right,
That's.
yeah, so that's why I'm saying, I
Yeah.
mean, I would
I
feel
mean-
most comfortable if we got some current quotes.
Well, we
Should-
have some go-bys that we can use, and I would also, but
Well, that's
I'm
okay. I
thinking
mean, as long as we have
on
something.
the equipment side, on the highway side,
By the way, this is where we get
when,
this.
when paving, when paving is going off, I'm okay with that being more like a 3% number.
Mhm.
But the vehicles, I'm really not comfortable below 5,
Okay, well,
realistically.
you know.
So, and I mean, and we're gonna look at that, but the goal was, is as we get, as we've built this,
Yeah,
we're now, okay, we know that engine 2 is gonna cost us $925,000.
Right.
That's a real number.
I understand.
And so, it's
Pretty
replacement,
soon, we're gonna be getting a quote on engine one.
exactly.
Right,
And then
and
it's
all I'm
like,
saying is, so
Yeah.
before we raise, these numbers and get too crazy, because most of these are scheduled down the road a little bit.
I mean, a 10% raise isn't crazy, and that's only to keep you from in the
That's-
future going, oh shoot, we didn't keep up with the times.
I understand, but we're talking about real money, and when we build in a 10% number, that's a very substantial
tax.
increase.
It's $20,000 on the.
So I have a
overall
question
rate.
But that compounds every year,
Yeah.
Steve.
Yeah.
So it's not a small number.
well, no,
And
if you're out
and-
10 years on the truck, that's a big number, but I will tell you,
I understand.
So-
So all I'm saying is, let's
Mhm.
I'd
be
rather,
calm here. and
well,
make sure we get
my typical methodology is every 5 years, we will know what the new,
Sure.
we want to update all of your replacement costs every 5 years.
Right.
So, but when you're predicting out 5 and 10 years,
Who knows?
it's 3 to 5%. Okay, and right now the program's using 3. 3's been low, but I don't know. You know what I mean? And we could look at that, but I would say between this year and next year, we should probably have all pretty good numbers.
Well, that's what I'm
in
getting
this
at, is,
plan.
I would feel most comfortable, first, let's get a
Yep.
number. Right, and then, like Scott says, there was a big giant.
Yeah.
Jump,
And-
but they're tapering off, because that's normally what happens in most cycles.
Right.
Is you
And
see a
right
relatively
now-
big jump in most things, and then there's a tapering off period.
And right now, the
That's all
supply
I'm
and
getting at, Steve,
demand,
Go ahead.
as you know,
Mhm.
because of your negotiations worldwide,
God
are up in the air.
Who knows?
Right.
Some of them
Sure.
that started out saying, whoever thought that has a screw loose.
Mhm.
It was a starting point, the ending point reached was down around 3%.
Mhm.
It started out at 100 or 150.
Right.
It ended up, it got them to talk. Now it's down to around 3%. Parts items and stuff that that I have to deal with.
Mhm.
Some of them I just bought for less money than I did last
Yeah.
year. Others, I just had order exhaust system.
Mhm.
It's up $400 from what it was a year ago.
Yeah. Right,
Then
yeah, so, but there's
These are,
there's an
yeah,
averaging thing that goes on.
yes.
So all I'm saying is, before we start jumping to, let's put.
I
10% in.
had no intention of changing plans. I was looking
Okay.
at, in what he brings up, like, I wouldn't go to a 10% inflation,
Mhm.
but I might go to 5, because it's
So,
been
Excuse me,
unpredictable.
Understood.
this is important. Your computer model, if I recall, the way it was programmed
Mhm.
is one inflation number in a particular spot.
Yes,
What I've been hearing this conversation say is trucks might need 5, 8, 10%. Other things like tasers and hoses and imaging cameras might only need 3. So my question to you is, can this program be
Yeah.
modified
Sure.
so that you can have either an inflation percent on every line item, or categories like trucks, electronics, something else, so that you can apply more than just one blanket peanut buttered inflation rate? Right now, this is peanut butter. He puts a number in one place and it applies
Sure.
to everything. we
right,
plan.
but the thing is,
Can that be
if you're getting
changed?
one more number, and then picking the groups, like, it's basically picking the groups.
If you want to do it
And-
that
but
way, that's
basically,
fine.
IT and equipment,
Yeah,
I might do it 5% and everything else at 3.
You-
And it's like, and you just pull
but
it,
you have
and
to get
basically,
your
we
program
just-
changed,
yeah,
right?
that's, and it's not a.
So I would suggest you look at doing that.
Yes.
So that you can
No, that's
apply
my
different
intention.
inflation factors to different categories of items. All right.
All right, but then we gotta go back to Steve's question, which is, he thinks 220 is a low number. I'm just.
Where are we?
I'm on
220 on which line
Chevrolet
item?
110 utility.
My only problem with
Hey.
that one is, when is that gonna get replaced?
But no. I'm
Way out in the future.
Well,
Trying to
no,
address his issue.
but that,
Yeah.
so. If I was to replace that today, that pickup truck itself, right? Cause basically the cost of that came from building it out. But if I bought just that pickup truck today, it's probably $20,000 more than when they bought it back then,
Yeah,
right?
fine.
And
Agreed.
that's my whole point. Like, we need to like kind of, we didn't, that wasn't raised up off from that cost, right?
Well, I see, if you understand the program that you have here, if you have a current replacement cost, which is theoretically what this number could be, right? Then wherever it's gonna be purchased, there's an inflation factor that he's building in that builds up the cost, the
From
future
here on.
cost.
Right, and I get that.
And it's actually from the date of when we put it in, like when we bought it, it
Right,
starts.
yeah,
inflating.
so that's what I'm getting at, is, if you have a reasonable replacement number for when you bought the thing, and then you have your period of how many years you're gonna go out, it adjusts. Okay, so I think that
If you go buy a
Okay.
Chevy Tahoe right now, which is,
Yep,
and I'm
Tahoe
just,
Command,
just
yeah.
because it's the least amount of bells and whistles added to it, right?
Yeah,
Can you go into the lot and buy a Chevy Tahoe for
I
60,000?
have
They're
absolutely
like
no idea.
75 right now.
Right,
But,
yeah,
well,
so,
but the question is, now here's the other piece of this,
Yeah,
and this is something that they have asked for, and we're gonna be modifying this plan to. When you go to the equipment worksheet, back sheet. If there's a trade-in value, it's deducted, that's the purchase price less the trade-in value,
and this does this on this
Yes.
automatically.
Yeah.
Okay. I did not realize that.
yes.
Okay,
So, and we're gonna be adding that in, so they wanted to make sure it's separate, that the actual replacement cost is this. This is the calculated replacement cost, so that you can see that.
okay, so and that would make sense.
okay.
You know what I mean? To me, the numbers didn't make sense and I didn't realize that we
Yeah.
were.
Well,
Trade-in
I mean,
value
you would
is
have
there.
to, what you would have to do, Steve, is take a look at the other sheet.
You gotta take a look at the back sheet, we should be going through the back sheet.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Cause that has the life on it, it has all of this stuff.
And then expected
Okay.
trade-in value.
Right.
I'd like to clarify what this committee decided about 3 years ago regarding quotes.
Go ahead,
We said
yes.
that if a department intends to buy a significant piece of equipment within 3 years, we must have a quote.
A car
We
quote.
said 3 years.
I think-
We didn't care about getting a quote today for something we're not gonna buy for 12 years, because who knows the future?
That's
We
right.
said, if you seriously wanna buy it within 3 years, get a quote. That's what we said.
Mhm.
This
Well,
whole committee.
it'll be
agreed
tough
to
to
that
get a hard
policy.
quote for.
Well,
something
yeah,
you're not
but
gonna buy
hard
for
is not
3 years.
required.
But
Closest.
even
you know.
harder for something you're not gonna
You
buy for
can get
12.
an estimate,
Right,
because I
Right.
went through this,
You can get a
just
good
on
faith
trucks.
estimate, right?
was that I would call, International would say, this is today's price, this is where we expect it to be in the spring because of the cost of steel or the cost of IT. But anything beyond that, there was no guarantee.
sure.
And on equipment to go on.
Within a
that
year,
stuff,
they'll.
The
they will
only
do it.
point is that
3
what we
years is
talked
tough.
about today, the Chevy 1 ton and
Well, I think
the
we. I think-
Tahoe,
Go ahead, sorry.
10, 12 years in the future.
Yeah.
So we won't get a quote on those. That's my
The
point.
only thing I will say for you that we had discussed before you were involved, that 1 ton utility, when that's replaced, needs to be replaced with a heavier chassis than a 1 ton.
Yeah, should have been.
So
I
as
get
far
that
as
one.
modification of any of these numbers, that's one that I think that needs to be parenthesed, that of what it's gonna be, what we're thinking replacement. Not a 12,000 GVW, but maybe a 19 or 20,000 GVW
Okay.
chassis underneath
Okay.
it because of the equipment that's on it.
Oh, yeah, that's a heavy truck for what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so all we would need to do is then say, it's a
That would
1 ton
bump up the
utility with
number.
blah, blah, blah. And
Yeah.
and the current cost would be this. And
Good,
that
based on
number,
good faith
instead of
estimate.
220, it would be 275.
Right.
Great, thank you very much,
Right,
but it's not gonna be
right.
bought, and then the inflation factor that he built
Right,
in
right.
will adjust. the cost.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, I didn't realize that it didn't include trade-in value or the value of. what
Yeah,
we
no, that's
bought.
okay, that's
So-
what.
Well, this
Trade-in
is
comes
what the
That's what we're here,
fact sheet
Steve,
looks
we're
like.
learning.
So you have your replacement cost, 75,000, 15-year life is what was listed, and this came off of the
Yeah.
previous sheets.
So it's.
And then it's got a
pretty much-
$15,000 trade-in.
Which is exactly what I was just saying.
Yeah,
Thanks
so
for
it-
setting
it-
me up for failure there, Chad.
We haven't gone through the fact sheet.
He wouldn't do that for just anybody.
I know. He's like, I'm gonna get him today. He's been getting me. I'm
No,
gonna
it's
get
just,
him.
it's one of those, yeah, that particular column, we're actually making it more understand.
Sorry, guys, mute point, I'll just shut up now.
No.
No, I
the-
didn't realize it.
This
So
is
and that
very
makes a
important.
huge difference, right? So, so where I was sitting, I literally, if you looked at my sheet,
Yeah,
I think I put it as a value on that as 75 grand.
there you go.
Is where it should be, like, if we had a replacement, that's the cost.
Yeah.
But if you, yeah, never
It's-
mind.
It's Chet's
Move
fault.
on. See, it is his fault.
You know, I'm telling you, I've been saying it for a few months now. I feel like a Mormon.
So,
Okay,
yep.
I work over the office. I got at least 8 wives.
This is.
And they're all telling me how to do what I gotta do. And I, it's just
So-
like, here, sign this and I
But
move.
now you go through eventually go through all the stuff with him on that back page.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and that's, we hadn't gotten to that because this
That's
is
okay.
our first time going through with
I-
Steve and.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
just gonna wipe this other.
That's
comment
okay,
out.
yeah.
It's
All right.
the,
We can sit down and we'll
All right,
figure. we'll
anything
fix
else we
this.
got
Thank
on
God.
you on fire? Or can we move on
I think we're
to
good.
EMS? Are we good?
That was it.
Okay. All right, let's go on to EMS. What do we got here?
Well, just for my little intro part of it. Actually, we don't have anything scheduled to be purchased this year. Because it wasn't until yesterday that we added the vents, the stair chairs, the Lucas and the radios. So that will
Well,
be
wait a minute,
changing
I
here
gave you this
shortly.
more than yesterday.
Well, but my point is.
Yeah.
We had to we added these items to the budget, but we haven't gone through the sheet to
Okay.
say, when do we need to replace these items?
Okay.
Based on our conversations, we're gonna be adding the radios, the
Right.
6 radios to this.
Yep,
And then we're going to be looking at the lifespan of the vents, stair chairs and Lucas, so
Okay.
that we can put that in there. The one thing I will say. Based on Steve's recommendation, we will not be buying in this current year stretchers. They're getting pushed out where we have more pressing needs. So we're swapping these things out.
okay, okay, if you're comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, and here's,
go ahead, spit it out.
oh, so
There's a
these
back-
ambulances were put out 15 years,
Uh-huh.
right? So we've ordered a new ambulance that came in last year,
Right,
at the beginning of this year, last year. So that came through with a new stretcher and set to go fully outfitted, right? The life expectancy of an ambulance anywhere is 7 to 10 years.
okay,
And we have our ambulances out 15 years.
right.
What does life in your table say for the ambulances? Because that's gonna affect the planning.
So those stretchers actually might be a mute cause at that point, right?
Yeah.
Might be,
yeah,
You know what I mean?
if a new stretcher
So is
comes
this
with,
the?
as long as they're ordered with the,
with
you
the,
ordered.
as part of
These
the
are,
truck.
they're all listed at 15.
So, and Steve was saying that's
They should be
too
more
much.
like 10.
That's what he's saying. You,
So we can
it's gonna
change
be a
that.
big financial hit. in the
Well-
long- big picture, but
Well, and this is what we're trying to do is
That's
get
what it's
these
gotta
things
be.
refined. I mean, it's bad news because it's been. I know everybody was involved in this before, but it hasn't been good planning. Okay, it just went, okay, when I told you before, when we added the items, the 3 items, I had gone from 109,000 to 120,000 for the annual appropriation. Changing those 3 to 10 years, it's now 150.
Right,
there you
So
go.
we're up
Big hit.
$41,000
That's a big
on an
hit.
annual
Yeah.
hit
Yeah,
for these
Yeah, no,
changes.
understood.
And this is basically just adding the correct
If I
number,
may.
so.
Sure.
15 and 10 are round numbers. Does it need to be 10? Should it be 12? I mean, every year.
He was saying
put in
7 to
life will
10.
make a difference.
7 to 10.
7 to 10. So
7
you
to
will-
10.
I was
go
on the
with that.
outside of the 10.
All right,
Yeah.
all right, all
No,
right.
7 to 10.
Peace.
So, I mean, we're looking at ambulances right now that we have 80,000 miles on, right?
And so it is a use issue, really. It's said, whether it's 7 or 10 depends upon how much you're using the vehicle.
Right, but we use them, right? So.
No,
we're
I-
only running-
I understand. But I think what I was hearing was, the ambulance crowd was not really up full capacity. Right, and so it wasn't, the trucks weren't being used to full capacity, and we're getting closer and closer to full capacity.
Well, the
Which
amount
means
of,
that the useful life is gonna be less.
since transfers
That-
have started, we've dramatically increased.
I
those.
understand, yeah,
Right.
That's
And
what I'm getting at,
Transfers more than paid for?
changing.
and
but-
We're
This
not
is-
quite there yet, we're
Why
close.
not?
But this is one of the things we were talking about,
was the
where it's
idea.
currently an enterprise entity.
Right.
If this transfer work keeps going the route that it is, we are going to have offsetting income coming in to help out on these expenditures. As these ambulances need to be replaced more often, it's because they're generating
No, no,
more
no,
revenue.
no, I
Yeah.
understand.
So,
I get
And
it.
once they do, and they start covering operational costs, meaning staff and everything,
Right.
that 180,000 starts to go mostly just to capital.
Right.
And we just keep our equipment up.
How long have we been doing transfers? It seems to me it's been 2 years now, since we've been.
I want to
saying
say it's 3.
This is the
Almost 3.
third year.
Are you
Yeah.
telling me that in the third year, we have not yet reached the point where that transfer is yielding I'll call it a profit? After 3
Transfer
years?
is yielding a profit.
Transfer is.
Oh,
ambulance is
yeah,
not.
Oh, fine.
Ambulance overall is
The
not.
transfer
I mean,
service
typically,
yielding a
when you
profit.
talk about people
Fine,
with
fine.
the size ambulance department we have,
Yeah,
a lot of towns are running 700,000 or 800,000 in the hole. Transfers are keeping us
got
pretty
it.
close.
I'm happy.
So you,
Please,
in this town, transfers is paying the staff your 911,
understand.
which is awesome, right?
As long as
'Cause if not,
transfers
the
are
cost would be
yielding
huge.
extra more than we expend on providing the service, that's good.
So,
Transfers are working perfect as
Good.
far as they're paying their way, they're actually
They kick in money in.
kicking money in.
Fine.
What's killing us is having to cover runs in Enfield, having to cover all these runs in Grafton with no mutual aid agreement. We are footing the bill.
We're footing the bill for Enfield?
We're covering some of Enfield's.
They cover some of us though, so.
And-
that one
And the
goes
thing
together.
is, the thing to keep
Grafton
in
doesn't,
mind that
but
we
Enfield
learned,
does.
that I learned when we were having our conversations with
I
Grafton,
gotta think about it.
there is no ambulance mutual aid. We are not required to
right.
cover anybody
I
who's not in
understand,
our
but
thing.
that's
So,
Right.
well, if these
Crazy,
people
you
want
know,
us
The
to.
ethics of it.
They're our neighbors, for God's sake.
But no, it's different when there's an emergency and there's a problem.
Sure.
It's different when you go there, they have a full staff and they say, we're not covering it, and we have to run them to the hospital.
Sure.
And we're getting called when they have minor things that they have the people to cover,
Mhm.
or they're, you know what I
I'm
mean?
not
Like,
surprised.
yeah,
I think it goes both ways with Enfield, but it does not with Grafton.
That is
It's a
correct.
one-way street.
it's actually, Enfield is becoming an interesting issue because they're looking at possibly like almost disbanding ambulance and using Lebanon and us.
Yes.
You're kidding.
No,
No,
Oh.
they, for the last several
then we're gonna,
years-
then we're gonna
We
see
should
revenue.
shut 'em out.
Big money.
We should
Then
Big
we're
shut 'em
gonna
money.
out.
get
That's money.
revenue.
That's money.
But see, for the
Less
last several
competition,
years.
Claude,
they
less
pay us.
competition. The only thing I worry about in terms of what you're all talking about, how this is gonna keep growing and growing, is ultimately there can be competition. Right, I
Right.
mean, you can have private ambulances, services that do these things and, you know, would chew up some of your possible revenue stream. But so I think we need to plan for what we need to have,
Correct.
regardless of what the revenue stream is gonna look
That's
like.
correct. Right
Right?
now,
Then
right now,
if
if we,
revenue stream comes along, whoopee-doo, you know,
Right.
that's great.
if we could
But we
clean up,
gotta prepare for what we need.
if we could clean up our agreements with, say,
Oh, sure.
Grafton and everybody else.
Yeah.
And like, it may
want
be
me
the
to
Grafton
negotiate
says,
that for
we
you?
don't want to do a contract and we're gonna get out, because we were actually asked by one of the select board members to send them an invoice for what they've used so far this year as a draft, just to say, this is what it's costing us. This is not like a profit. This is
Mhm.
what our net cost is per
Sure.
run.
Yeah.
And let them start to see, and it's like, you know, what do you want to do? They told us they have a $19,000 budget for ambulance. We have $800,000 budget for ambulance.
Well, that's a negotiating tactic. You guys have to figure that out. But if
Right,
you
but
want, you know,
the
kind of
reality
negotiate,
is
I'll
we need to-
volunteer do it.
It's the same issue we have with the transfer station and everything else. We have to start addressing what's going out the door as much as we have to do the other side, because both things are happening.
Understood. So what do we need to do with,
well,
anything
yeah,
here?
I got a question.
Sorry,
Um,
yes, Tom, go ahead.
How do you determine the useful life of an ambulance? Is it miles? Is it trips? Is it runs? Is it the number of people carried in the ambulance?
Typically-
How do you judge? that?
So. There's an industry standard that they kind of set is 7 to 10 years of life on it. right?
Okay, but
And that's for failing of the rig itself, right? Because they get ridden hard. Right? where you're running to emergencies, you're doing a long transport, stuff on the ambulance itself, so like the chassis itself starts to fail, and then your cost starts to go up on maintaining it. So that's where that 7 to 10 year window, your reliability starts going away after 7 years.
So you're measuring then by cost of repairs, cost of maintenance of the vehicle?
And the reliability of your vehicle.
How do you judge reliability?
When it's not in the shop.
So, by the way,
A lot of this, Tom,
Another question, does the mechanic, give a report on on these vehicles? Is it in the mechanics report?
He works on those, yes.
So it's gonna be in his report,
That's what I
it
expect,
should
yes.
be.
okay,
Generally.
Yeah.
Ambulances, fire trucks, public works, you look more at hours of service
Yeah.
because you have so much idle time. And fire trucks, you might have 4 times the hours pumping that they actually have driving.
Mhm.
Ambulances, you get to a scene, depending on what the scene is, that might sit there and run for an hour and not even transport anybody, or you might have in the spring of the year, a code 3 run that you've got to make to a trauma center over frost heaps. So, I mean, it's more hours of operation than it is just a speedometer or age.
okay. And the mechanic should theoretically have an opinion about remaining useful life, is that
Mhm.
fair to say?
He should have.
An opinion.
Yes.
Yeah,
he should.
we're not gonna hold it to it.
No, I'm just saying, but these are the things that.
But it's another
But
guy, it's another
I'll tell
piece
you-
of information that we have.
Well, but the other interesting piece of this, and
Mhm.
like, cause the last fire department I dealt with. There's actually a rule for how long the tires can be there. They don't care if they've only gone 25 miles.
Mhm.
If they're 7 years old, they're off the truck.
Okay,
You know what I mean? Like there are standards because of responses and things like that. There's actually lifetime things. Cause they're like, okay, you are 40% more likely to fail if you get to this point.
Mhm.
And that's kind of how that all is done. It's not really done. Like we think our truck looks okay.
And I
You know,
worked
when
with
I
a
had,
fire
you know, when
truck.
we did our fire truck, engine 2, is it engine 2 or engine 1? That's how we did it with that. We drove it until when you're driving it at night and all the dash lights go out. I guess that's a time we should be looking at a new truck.
all right, so, all right, is there anything
And
else that we
huge.
need? Yeah, anything else you wanna talk about at this group?
Well, we didn't talk about the vehicles themselves very much, did we? In particular, or
Well, we
what?
got one new ambulance.
One that's
So-
gonna get moved out,
A1's new,
one of the stretchers is gonna moved out,
So-
A1 is new, then
so
what?
that's got a new stretcher in it, it's in service now. We still should be looking at like 10 years is gonna be a stretch for that one, it's gonna have a lot of miles on
Is
it.
that Osage number 2?
No,
here?
that's the Ford #1 is gonna be Ford Transit now.
Or number
Oh,
1?
I'm sorry, did you change it? Okay.
I haven't changed.
Okay.
Oh,
so
it's Ford number 1, sorry. So we just bought that, okay, got
Yeah.
it.
So,
Then there's an Osage 2 and 3, which is basically a 2 and 3, I guess.
yeah, so Osage 3 is a 2015. And we should be looking at ordering that replacement next year. Actually, it should have been this year, because we're still 2 years out for an ambulance.
So the
And
plan
that-
right now says 2030,
Yeah,
and he's saying
He's-
2027,
26.
26.
Well, no, no,
in
no, no.
Order, but
We're,
Order.
if you're saying it's 2 years out, if we order in 26, it's a 28 truck.
It's
Right.
$28 in the
Yes.
plan,
Yes.
so
So, and then that's 14 years on a truck.
mhm.
that's a lot. I
That's a
know,
lot.
yeah.
Especially with what we do, the liability for not having good equipment is huge.
Yeah,
So,
Now, if I may, on that point, excuse me for a quick second, what does not show in this paper at the moment, and that the voters asked for last year and you agreed to, was to show the year acquired. He just told us that that one was acquired in 2015. I couldn't tell that.
well,
By
from this,
looking
but
here.
that might be in the
So,
spec
I'm
sheet.
just
Sent
wanted
back-
to remind.
no,
That's in
no,
the back sheet.
No, we got a
I
couple
know
of
it's in the
comments.
back sheet. I wanted to remind you that the public asked for that to be visible on these reports.
Yep.
Just a reminder. Okay, back to you, Steve.
so 2017 is A2. And A3 is 2015 if you're adding it. So we should order one, we should order one next year, it should have been this year. And then we should order the second one 2 years from that.
So let's one at a time. The one you say we should order next year, I don't see any dollars in the plan in the next year, do I?
Nope.
Nope.
So we got to add that, Chet, right? Which one is it? please?
Where was, I was back looking
Uh,
at my
you
back
look
sheet.
at-
I'm in my back sheet right now.
sheet.
Yeah. he's
I wanted to
talking-
see, cause it said, yeah, it's 2015 and the other one's 2017.
Yeah, so he's
Yep.
talking
So pick
Osage
one.
three,
Stage
three.
three
Right.
should be ordered when? In 2026.
should be in order to 26.
But paid for
28.
2028.
So that's the 345
Stage three.
currently, but that'll change, yeah, go ahead.
So we need, my point is, that line shows 345,000 way out in 2030 right now. So that's gotta be brought forward a couple of years, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you got that check?
I just put 2028 in.
And if you look at the cost, like Grafton, I think just paid 375 for their ambulance.
Mm-hmm.
The
Oh.
same.
So why was ours?
And that should last-
Three.
Ours is only 230 because we bought a Ford Transit,
Okay,
which is a great transfer truck, and they're less money.
But it's not a good call truck.
It's not a good call truck.
You can't carry enough equipment.
Can't carry enough equipment. If you have to work a code in it and you can only get to one side of
well,
the
you
patient,
and I,
you can't do it.
we'll sit and update all that back
Yeah.
sheet stuff and then we
Yeah.
can, then we'll know.
So we got to talk about Osage number two.
Huh?
I didn't know there was a.
It was, it's a whole
Yes, we-
equipment work, everything equipment is in this one sheet.
All right, so I
Okay,
think
so-
that the point, Claude, these guys have work to do.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get these guys back again. We're
Yep.
gonna get him
Gonna
back.
have to, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
So rather than try to.
point
you know,
Osage
nail
two
anything
is
to
also
them.
a similar situation, needs to move in
Yeah,
2 or 3
yeah.
years based on what we're hearing.
Yeah, this, and again, this is a new evaluation.
Sure.
We're getting
Yeah.
caught up.
Perfectly
and-
fine.
Yep.
and
So we're gonna have
we're
to, you know,
changing up
build
by the
in,
minute.
yeah.
We
another
will have
visit
to
with our
revisit
friend
this,
Steve.
this plan for sure, because we
The
got
stretchers. are-
huge changes coming.
If we
Yeah.
do the trust.
Huge,
we should.
Yes, that's okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys do that. All right,
Okay,
thank you, Steve.
well,
Good.
it depends on how you, like, do they itemize that in the cost of the ambulance?
Yeah, you can.
Cause we could actually do that like we're doing it with the other things that we're
Tractors,
talking about, like the
outfitting.
cruisers.
Yeah.
Where we actually we'll take that amount out of the ambulance cost.
Yeah.
And have it as separate.
Now,
line
why would
items.
we do that?
Because you can buy them separate, even though it comes with the equipment.
Right?
We could also go buy a stretcher and not have to buy an ambulance that year. If that's what happened.
But I haven't heard in my views, I haven't heard the need to do that, really. I've been hearing that it was better to buy them as a package.
It's always better to buy anything as a package.
Right.
But in the situation we were getting into when we were being asked last year, was our stretchers weren't up to snuff and it's because our ambulances aren't up to snuff. But we were buying it incrementally. We were gonna say, let's buy some stretchers.
So, and that's kind of the ultimate problem is, right? So like A3, which is the one we should be ordering, has bullhorns and a single locking mechanism for the stretcher, right? That's how came through when it was ordered. Well, that is no longer meet standards. They're not even allowed to run them
Mhm.
anymore. Like you cannot have that installed. So like being that we'll replace the truck, we replace the stretcher with a power load and be done with it. And if we're on that cycle, as long as we have no catastrophic failures of that stretcher, we are always gonna have a truck with a new stretcher and we.
So
take
it's
it.
up
I'm
to
not
you guys.
agreeing with what you said. Let me tell you why. On the police cruisers, that was fine, because what we've always been told is that we have to buy the vehicle from a vehicle dealer. We take delivery, then we have to basically have a different supplier outfit the cruiser and we pay them separately.
That's not always the case.
Well, that was what we were told.
I'm just saying, like, cause I bought a couple of
the
cruisers from a
ambulances-
company in Massachusetts and they order them by the hundreds.
Yeah.
And they actually painted the truck, put the decals on
I
and
talked
fitted
to
them
the
out.
cars.
Police cars.
Yeah.
Police, you said painted the truck. Okay, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Well, they're,
But
I'm sorry. All
but
right.
they were actually
It
police
can be
vehicles.
done otherwise, but
And
we've been.
it was,
told-
yeah, I'm just saying, when we bought them, they were
Yeah.
packaged.
We buy them one at a time, one a year.
Right. So it's just,
Buy it.
it's really just a choice of you guys. It doesn't matter to me if you
Yeah,
want them
that's
combined or not.
I didn't get to finish. The police cruisers is one way. We buy the vehicle from a dealer, from a vehicle dealer, one, and we pay somebody to outfit it. So that made sense. On ambulances, what I've heard is you buy the package, you buy the whole thing, all outfitted with with a good stretcher and this other equipment, all from one supplier. That's what I've been hearing in the last few years. Isn't that the case?
That supplier will outfit it how you request it.
If that's the case, then I do not agree that on ambulances, we should have a separate line for
If
outfit.
we're keeping them longer than recommended, like we have done, that's why they became an issue.
Then you
That's
need
why
to
it was
buy
identified and that was,
Equipment, it's
and
not
that's,
the same.
and that was,
Yeah, yeah.
and we were asked to identify it because
But
we
what
needed
you're doing
ambulance,
now-
we needed stretchers separate.
But what you're
Because
doing
of
right
age.
now by putting in a 10-year life
And if it,
in the
and
plan, I would not agree to have the plan show separate line items. Is my
just, well, I'm
point.
just saying is, we're still way beyond the life of the truck when
Yeah,
we
yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
And the question is, are we gonna have an issue? I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
So it's,
Alright.
it's just a choice. That's
Yeah.
I don't care either way.
Alright, well, you guys work it out and come back.
Well,
Okay.
Okay, alright.
and
Yep.
here on this line, if we order a new ambulance and we're gonna have it come outfitted, instead of saying 3 stretchers, now that line can go back to 2, because you know you're getting one on schedule.
Right.
Right.
I mean,
Well,
There's
actually, it could go back
adjustments.
to one.
yeah, but I mean, there's
We got
adjustments that
one
can
and
be
then it's
made,
It goes to 0.
but I'm saying there's,
But you'll work that out.
If,
yeah,
Yep.
these adjustments
Yep.
can be made as we get everything
Sure.
into a cycle.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
Alright, other business, any other business? Anybody got any other business?
we're an hour, we're 34 minutes over time.
I know, that's right, we don't have any other business.
ambulance will last at
Okay. So the next meeting is September 3rd.
Yeah.
Right, at 4 o'clock. Who we got coming in?
I
We
don't
got,
know.
mechanic and highway vehicle follow-up.
So if you could look at that schedule, because you need to plan the next time we're gonna have a fire and ambulance follow-up. Because
Right.
this plan is nowhere, it's a long way to go,
Yeah,
right?
Chet and I will work through that. We'll
Yeah,
figure
We'll
that
need
out.
to add that to your
Yeah, and
plan,
it's,
future.
and it's really, it's a couple of hours. We're cleaning it up. We added a bunch of things and we just have to make some adjustments, and the timing of the trucks changed the whole
Point being,
conversation.
the
Understood.
numbers are gonna be dramatically different.
Yeah,
This
the
committee
numbers will
needs
be
a chance to review them, so you need to plan what meeting that's gonna be.
Alright, good. Chair will,
Yeah.
entertain a motion to adjourn.
Go
So
move.
move.
Seconded,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening. Thank you, Monica.
Thank you, Monica. Thank you for the